there's no way I could walk a block, you know.
Well, this meeting is all relative. I mean, if I look around, I see relatives all over the place.
That's true.
You see what?
Well,
Relatives,
you were saying it's all relative, and I'm looking at the screen.
Oh,
they're all
All
relatives.
I see is
yeah.
relatives.
Are you gonna watch the game, Kevin? The
Prob-
Broncos, 2 o'clock?
Probably not live.
What?
No? Why?
Well, I like to catch the highlights.
Oh.
Okay, and it looks
Mm.
like Michael is back. Michael, can you see and hear us? Michael, are you back with us?
His microphone is
Yes, there,
muted. Oh,
there we go.
okay.
Yeah, I'm back. I was trying to help Sue out a little bit. I'm not sure why she cannot join, but it is what
Okay,
it is. All right. Well, let me try to share again.
all right.
And I'm actually coming into you from the application this time, so we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see if that matters.
Okay.
Entire screen, share.
Nope. We can't see you and we cannot see your shared screen.
Well, Michael explained earlier that that's.
We see the screen.
Uh-oh,
All
something happened.
right.
Something happened. Oh,
Oh,
there
yes,
is a screen with
that
a
that
bunch
that's
of,
your
Locks on there, right?
yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Woohoo.
that's ancestry.
This is ancestry.com. I'm going to take you through some of this stuff in just a minute here. Stand by.
Somebody related to Eisenhower?
Yeah, I'll get to all that. So stand by just a second. Let me talk to my sister here real quick. So,
Yeah.
Is Tom able to get on?
Tom is currently down in the basement. Oh, he needs somebody to send him the link.
All right. Hold on. Let me I was forward you John's email. So hold on.
That looks like my email.
It
That
is your
looks like
email.
my, yeah.
Outlook, by the look of it.
Back in the old days.
All right. Tell Tom I just sent him the email. He needs to click on the upper link here to join the Zoom meeting, and then just simply select join from browser. You should be able to see it.
Yeah, he doesn't see it yet, but he's
All right.
working on it.
All right. While we're waiting for those, let's go ahead and talk about our side really quickly, just so you can kind of calibrate where we fit in and what have you. So, our mom, of course, was Helen. She was the youngest of the four Harringtons.
Ah,
And then she was famous for her yearbook goal in life, which was to have a lot of kids. And she certainly met that goal. So there, here is the punch list of the kids. William is our oldest brother. Deborah, she just passed away last year. She had melanoma, and it got the better of her. She was only 63, I believe, when she passed away. Sue, of course, is next in line, and she's trying to get on. My brother Tom is also trying to get on. And then here I am, Michael. I'm the fifth in line there. And we have Peter and Stephen is our youngest. Stephen was a bit of a oopsie baby in the sense that he was born, let's see here, about 9 years after the rest of us. So that's the group that we have there. Just for gee whiz, Bill's now basically retired. He was working in plumbing business for a long time, heating, air conditioning, heating, ventilation, air conditioning business. Deborah, she worked in a bank for quite a while as a teller. Did some work there. Susan has been working a number of jobs along the line. Most recently, she was working for a bus garage, driving school bus. Tom worked for the New York State prison system as a electronics technician for forever, and he just retired not too awful long ago. I myself, I was in the Air Force for 25 years. I just retired. I say just, actually, that's a lie. I retired in 2007. However, I just went home, put on a shirt and tie, and went back in the same desk, same chair, working the same job, and I've been doing that ever since. So I've been with the Air Force for over 40 years now. Still working, still doing it. My brother Pete, he's had a number of odd jobs, but he's been very successful in the pizza business. So he actually owns a pizza shop in Corning, New York, right on the main Market Street. It's been very successful there. It's called Atlas Pizza. And then
Excellent.
and then my brother Steve, he's down in Virginia Beach, working for a college as an IT tech, working down there. He's been doing that for quite some time now. So that's a little bit about us. We lost our mom.
So
Go ahead.
Helen Harrington, is she Sister Howard Harrington?
Yes. No. I'll show you that in just a second.
Okay.
So Helen, we lost my mother to breast cancer back in 1991, and ultimately that's what got myself and my brother Tom into genealogy, because at the time, for whatever reason, we didn't seem to know a heck of a whole lot about the Harrington side of the family. Pretty much our grandparents, that's pretty much all we kind of knew. We did come a time when Uncle Howard stopped by and visited once, but we never ever reached out for whatever reason on the Richard side of the house, or very much on the Shirley side of the house, for the four kids. So it kind of goes like this. If I were to see Howard's tree, here's the four children. Howdy.
Wow, you've really done a great job on this.
Well, yeah. So I was going to say, so back in 91, when my mother passed away, computers were just getting started. So most of this was leather shoe sleuthing across southern New York, and northern Pennsylvania. And then I've reached out, and before she passed away, great aunt Helen, who used to live in Jacksonville, Florida, I visited with her a couple of times over the years, and then she passed away in 2002. But she was a hoot, an absolute joy to talk to, and she was very much into the genealogy and the history of the family. And I'll talk about her a little bit later. So we've been doing this on and off. Now that computers are much more advanced, you can do a heck of a lot from the seat of your pants in your living room. So that's kind of how I've been doing the vast majority of the research. And it's not just me. My brother Tom and Sue, whenever I need something from them up in New York, they will usually hop in the car and go research it out real quick. Most recently, we were doing some research into Martin Harrington, who I'll tie in just a second. He had been hit and killed by a train in 1928, and we were trying to figure out what all happened there very specifically, and I'll give you some details on that in just a second. Anyway, so here we are, and here's the list of the four children. I will preface anything before I go any deeper here. If there's any hidden things that you would rather not talk about or rather not see, I completely understand that. And by all means, let me know and say, nope, I don't care to know about any of that, because every family has skeletons, as it were, but they are what they are. You are who you are, regardless of what this happens to show. Okay.
Sure. 1 second, real quick. Mother,
Sure.
are you able to see this image?
Yes, and of course I'm on Ancestry too, and have almost Kathy and I worked on getting most of our family on there. The thing is, we didn't quite finish with Helen's kids. And we didn't quite finish with my dad's side of the family. So it isn't something that I had shared just yet. But anybody who can get on Ancestry, I believe we can arrange for them to see what we have put in as well. I don't know, Michael. I'll. I seem to only. It seems binary when I'm talking. Other people can't talk. I'll shut up in a minute because I just wanted to know if Michael uh, knew if we can share
Yes,
ancestry.com account.
absolutely. So
And Mary wrote a whole book. Everybody got a printout of the book. It's about this thick. Everything she knows about family is there.
right. Also, before I get into this, just so you're aware, there's also on Mary's.
John, there is one more participant trying
Yep.
to get in.
Just admitted.
That might be Tom.
It is.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
What's up, guys?
Welcome, welcome. Hey, I just given a little bit of the Bennett background, and we're just starting to dig into some of the Harrington and what have you. So,
Right. Right. It finally cooperated.
Tom, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
hey, Tom, can you possibly go help Sue so she can get on?
Yep. We'll see what we can do there.
Okay. All right. Hey, Sue. Sue. I'm gonna hang up on the phone here. Tom's gonna come help you.
Okay.
All right. So I can't take credit for everything that you're seeing right here. A lot of this came from there is a shriver that's out on Find a Grave that has done a vast deep dive into the shriver side of the history. Let me show you that if I can pull this down and see it. I actually have him over here. Let's see here. So let me go back to John here. No, don't want to do that. I got too many things on the screen here. Can't get that. There we go. Get that off of there. And I want to go back to the memorial. Okay. So first of all, let me calibrate where you're looking here. So the first thing is this is John Ferris Shriver. This is this gentleman way back here. Okay, you're talking 1799 to 1870. I take you all the way back there because on his tombstone, which you can't really read because it's been worn down, there is a interesting entry here underneath his bio. So I'll let you read that for just a second, assuming you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur Cecil Shriver III.
Hey, Sue, can I have your laptop?
Hey, Tom, can you put yourself on
I
mute
have
there?
your laptop. What's that?
Put yourself on mute, Tom.
Yep. Let's do that.
Mother,
Yep.
I didn't realize you were born in 1803.
No, that's not me.
Okay. So
Actually,
go ahead.
actually, just a caveat before you continue. There was two families involved on my dad's mother's. It splits because she was married twice,
Right.
and the first four kids were by Shriver, and then my dad came along after she was married to a man called Lilly, and that's the area where I haven't finished my research and stuff, but we actually don't have the Shriver split in our line, in my line. So just so you know, I'm not really aware of the Shriver background because they really were not my bloodline. So
Okay. Gotcha. The point here is there's this book that was done in 1933 about the Shrivers. It just so happens that the owner of many of the memorials that are on Find a Grave is actually a Shriver as well down here, this A.A. Shriver. So I've not personally reached out to this person, but if I click this, you could get this person. There he is, and a little bit about him. So we could theoretically reach out to them and see whether he has a copy of that 33 document or not. But as you mentioned, Mary, if it isn't your bloodline, maybe you're not interested. But anyway, so let me put you back where we were. Okay, and this is the information that I was able to pull off of there. I think I saw you, John, that you're recording, so you should have this for posterity, which is good.
Yep. I will share this with everybody after that.
Yeah, perfect. And then from there, I just wanted to quickly talk about what we have on our end. I have some photographs that my mother had of your dad, Richard. I'm not sure you have all these or not, but if you do, that's great. Let's see here. So let's click on some of these. So this is Howdy and Annette, or no, Mary. These are you. There you
That's
are.
Richard and me.
There you go. Sorry, I had it labeled wrong.
And John.
Okay, there's that.
That I
That's,
remember. I know that well.
that's John.
That's my first slide rule.
Uh-huh. John again.
There's Kathy
Uh-huh.
and John. That's John.
More John.
That's John.
John, it looks like you got the there we go. Finally got another.
That's Kathy.
Where did all
That's
these photos
Kathy.
come from?
They came out of my mother's photograph album.
Oh, Kathy.
Yeah.
Look at those glasses.
And of course, the famous story, my mother apparently couldn't pronounce Richard when she was a youngster and therefore called him Itchy.
Yes, it stuck.
That's the story that stuck. Now,
Yeah, it stuck.
do you know the types of airplanes that he flew, Mary or John or anyone?
Most of these were trainers. This is when he was in college at Michigan State. He was studying, and I have a picture that has him and John, with John sitting up here by him with the slide rule, and the two of them studying together. But that's Richard.
Yeah, this says Clarkson College, but I don't know whether.
No, that would be Michigan State. This one.
Okay. And then there
we
is.
go.
But most of his planes were trainers that we have pictures of. When he got to Alaska, which was his assignment out of jet training's school, he had been assigned to multi-engines at that point, and so he did a lot of flying out to Ice Island and stuff where the international laboratory is, and he also did bush pilot flying in smaller planes, and then he did some to keep up his hours. He also flew in some fighter jets, but I don't know which ones they were.
Okay, that's good information to know. Anyway, those several pictures of that.
We have one more visitor.
This is Richard, and I believe that's when he was in training in either Georgia or Arizona.
It says San Antonio, Texas, up on the top there. I don't know if you can see that, but
I don't believe he was ever in Texas and trained. It was mostly Arizona and Georgia, and then Oklahoma. This is our wedding. And that's April 2nd, 1955.
Who just joined us?
Should be Sue, I would hope.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sue, nice to meet you.
Go ahead and kill your camera, Sue.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know how to do that. Oh, that's a beautiful picture. Okay, I gotta have Tom come back in and do that. Can you kill the camera, Tom?
poor Susie has had such a ordeal with the worst case of shingles I ever heard about. Oh, and that's Richard.
Um,
Handsome devil.
That's
yeah.
that's
Oh
Richard's
my God, look at him.
first. Yeah,
Sue, there's a button on the bottom left where there's a camera. You can mute your camera from there.
Yeah, let me see.
Bottom left, there's a little picture of a video, and it just you can mute your video there.
that's Richard.
All right, I think I'm out of it.
You did it.
There you go. You got
Oh,
it.
amazing. Amen. Okay,
Good
Mary,
job.
continue. This is amazing.
Okay, sorry to interfere, Mike. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's your Uncle Richard.
Oh my God.
He was gorgeous.
Uh-huh. It looks like a movie star.
Yes, he does, and he did. That whole family, and you all too, very, very handsome people.
And then of course that was the one I picked up. That's the end of the group that I have.
Yeah, but that was after his stroke.
Okay. It's interesting you said that. I recently had a stroke myself. Let's see, December of 23.
Wow.
That's what happens when you retire.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess.
I hadn't retired. I was just sitting on the couch watching TV, and my arm just dropped in my lap, and I said, that's kind of peculiar. So I yelled over to I talked over to my wife, who was sitting on the love seat. I said, "Hey, call the ambulance." But that's what I thought I said, but that wasn't what was coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I couldn't speak. So thank goodness I didn't have any negative effects, no motor skill problems or anything like that. But so they just put me on a half a drug.
That's wonderful, but
Yeah.
that's the way it started with Richard, and
Right.
he would not go in and have it checked out when he was having those smaller strokes like that, and so he ended up with a really bad one, and you need to make sure that you're monitoring that, and that a lot of times, if you're not on like baby aspirin or some sort of blood thinner, they give you that because it helps prevent the stroke.
Gotcha. Anyway,
So,
thankfully I came through that clean. They put me on a half a drugstore of prescriptions, and slowly weaned myself off of most of those. These are pictures of my mother. Let's see, the one I'll just click through these real quick.
Wow.
This is my first birthday, and this is at the house that Grandpa Harrington and Leona lived at on Hendy Creek Road in Elmira.
do you remember the one with the swimming pool? Is that the one that?
It wasn't a swimming pool; it was a pond.
I know.
Right.
Yeah, but John was out climbing around on that scaffolding, and I was scared to death because it was not the best looking construction in the world, and that pond was full of very hungry fish.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, there's is that Helen?
Yeah, that's her and her dog Bozy when she was little.
That's Mom. I never saw that photo before. Oh God.
That's her too.
Oh,
that's her too.
This is a Mickey Mouse that my dad and my mom did. This is behind their house on Gaines Street.
Yes.
They did a little snow Mickey. This is just her bridal her bridal book that she had. And this is her with a lassie this time.
Oh, jeez, Mike, where did you get all these pictures? You made me cry.
That's Shirley in the middle, Helen on the right, And I don't know who the
It
one
says
on the left is.
Shirley, Sylvia, Lassie, and Helen. I don't
Okay,
know.
I don't know.
I
Who
don't
is
know.
Sylvia?
I don't know.
Oh,
There's another puppy.
Oh,
That's her at 10.
oh my God, look at Mom. Oh my gosh.
Riding bike.
Oh,
So this is 55. So she was 15 then.
oh my gosh. Where'd you get all these pictures? Oh my God.
All right. So
I remember that one.
so this is Grandpa Harrington, Leona, and then Mom.
No.
First communion, I think. So Grandpa, Mom, Shirley, and Leona.
Oh, bless your heart. Look at her. Oh, look at all those
There.
kids. Oh. Oh. Gosh. Mike, where did you find these?
I'm not. I thought these came out of her photo album. I'm not sure how I would have gotten them.
I don't remember some of these.
There she is, looking devilish right back there.
It looks like me. No. Now that picture, I got one of me that looks very much identical. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, look at that
Teddy
kitty.
bear.
Mhm.
Couple more. It's still. I'm just gonna kind of click through these a little bit faster here. It's 4, 5 months.
No. Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This one always. The socks always got me on this one. Uh,
she'd like to roll them down, didn't she?
that's what it looks like.
That was when we
Oh
had to
my.
wear long socks.
This is my favorite. She's beautiful in this picture.
Oh wow.
Yes, she was a very, very pretty woman.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Bronx Zoo
Uh-huh.
in her graduation.
Look at that. I remember that. Oh, I mean,
I don't
oh,
know why
look
these
at
are out of
Mom.
order. Some more.
Mm.
And let's see here. This is when she graduated. And then that's her graduation photo.
Wow. Oh.
And that's the end of those.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to show you some ones of Grandpa and Leona, which you may or may not have seen. So let's start here. All right. So they lived a number of places. Up in Corning, they lived on Hendy Creek Road in Elmira, on Pine City. Actually, we're right, about a mile from where we lived. They also lived over on Gaines Street, over on this what we call the South Side, over where my Bennett parents lived, pretty close to there. And then I want to say from Hendy Creek, he retired, I believe, and then they moved down to Jacksonville, Florida, and retired down there. That's how he got down there, roughly when he got down there. I want to say early 70s, give or take. He was very, as you well know, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, he was very skilled at doing various things like with his paintings. We have the story goes when he passed away, they found several of his paintings underneath one of the beds. I want to say it was like 4 to 6 of them underneath the beds. And we had thought, and again, keep in mind we were kids then, we had thought each sibling, the 4 siblings, took one of the photos or one of the paintings. We have one. I'm not sure whether any of the other siblings either had it or still have a photograph. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. It was a very artistic guy. So let's keep going here. That's the house on Gain Street. The house is still standing. It's that part of town isn't the greatest anymore, but the house is definitely still there.
It was
404.
a very beautiful house,
Right.
and I slept actually in that upper left hand. When we visited them, I slept in the bedroom up there.
Yep.
Richard and I.
It was
Mm.
their car in a blizzard.
Right.
This is this is one
Now
of the
this is something of Howard's.
right. He created a number of these pretty much anywhere he went. This one we believe was in his backyard on Gain Street. Now it's not there, but you'll see a number of these that he's done, and I've done quite a bit of
Well,
research on them. Go ahead.
I thought this was a commission for the church.
Well,
I thought this one was in the church's
well,
on
well,
church's grounds.
well. Let me. I'll show you the one I think you're thinking of in just a second. See Canada. That's nice. This is a church there that they were part of. Don't know what church specifically. There he is.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Gangster.
This is Aunt Dorothy and our mom Helen.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen that one.
This is a fountain that he did, and see the little rock work that he did around there. So
Oh my gosh.
dabbled, and you can see the fountain squirting out.
Hmm.
This I think is her father, possibly. Not sure. But Leona and Helen.
Well, it would almost have to be because I don't recognize him at all as a Harrington.
Right. This would be, I believe, I want to say it's her dad. But
Okay.
I don't know.
Tom's saying yeah.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay.
All right, so there's Leona and Howard sitting in their house. I believe this is Hendy Creek. No, can't. No, this is 58. So Flint, Michigan. Sorry.
Oh my God. Oh.
And this is Leona and Mary Shear, which is one of her sisters that married a Shear, I think, her youngest sister, I think. It's grandma and mom. She went by Lee,
I don't remember any of these.
as you can think.
Oh, look at Grandma.
That's grandma.
Oh.
You can tell that Helen when she were related in that other picture.
Right. This is my oldest brother, Billy, and grandpa. See the line up here. There's Howard. There's mom. I can't make out the other ones there, but they have pictures all lining up the bookshelf there on the back wall.
It's making me cry.
Oh, I forgot. They also lived on Rowe Avenue in Elmira as well. So 4 different places that we know of. There's Grandpa and Sue.
Where did you hunt that up from? Oh my gosh, look at the car.
That's their car, or a car. I'm not sure.
How you doing there, Kath?
I'm doing good. Is that Howard in driving the car?
It is.
Wow.
You know, his sons, Scott and Stephen, look so much like him. Very much so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, his grandchildren. I'm sorry, I said grandchildren, Stephen and Scott.
Okay.
Look a lot
So
like him.
one of the stories that my dad used to tell us about it, when he said they, whoever the proverbial they is, he had said that they questioned whether he could read fully or not.
Well, he had to stop schooling, I think, before the eighth grade, is to in order to go to work to help support his family. That was when
Mhm.
Martin died, and so Leona did a lot of the bookwork and everything for the paint companies and the jobs that he did. So I think the two of them did a magnificent job for not having any more formal schooling than they did. She made the eighth grade, I guess.
Right, right. So it looks like that's possibly the funny papers. I'm not exactly sure,
Yeah.
but there's another picture
Oh,
of
look
him.
at him.
You can see Howard and Richard in him,
Yes,
and he looks like Lawrence Welk a lot of times.
yes, I agree, Mary. I do.
So there he is pushing the wheelbarrow with a bunch of Bennett kids in the bucket there.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess then the Allens are in there too. I'm not sure who's who, but this is in 65. So this is probably, yeah, this is I would have been a year old, so I probably wouldn't be in there, but
Mm.
Howard's truck. I don't recall what that says on the outside. Oh, decorating something or other.
Well, he had uh, uh, tons of stationery made out that said Harrington and Sons.
Right.
Uh, when he had the paint shop, and Leona still had some of those after Richard and I were married. She was still using it to write on. It was a big disappointment to him that his sons did not take over the business and do a retirement for him that way. That
Right.
was his plan. And they just ran as fast as they could when they got free. Neither one of them wanted to work with him because he was difficult to work for.
Yeah, our dad actually spent some time working with him on various projects as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he tells all kinds of stories about how I don't want to say reckless he was, but he'd be up on the tippy top
Fearless.
of fearless. There you go. He'd be up on the tippy top of a 25-foot extension ladder and
Yep.
Yeah.
leaning out as far as he could. He was pretty much fearless. Anyway, this is great aunt, what I call great aunt Helen. This is the my favorite of the sisters. Now I visited. I shouldn't say just myself. Tom and I visited with Aunt Dorothy and Irene, and there was one more, Frances, up in
Yep.
Bath, New York, back in the '90s, and we kind of interviewed them and talked a good bit about that side of the family. And then Great Aunt Helen, she was, as I mentioned earlier, she was already down in Jacksonville, Florida, living with her daughter Nancy down there.
Well, she she was kind of the black sheep of the family too. She just pretty much a highly independent and funny person, I guess.
Oh, you're exactly right. She was a hoot. My favorite story was I was down there. So she never told her daughter that I was coming. All right, so I'm driving down from New York. And I'm on my way. I'm on vacation, and she goes, "Oh yeah, stop in." So I stopped in. Now she didn't tell Nancy I was coming, so Nancy thought I was some, crook trying to rob this old lady. So we show up at the house. She's like, "Who are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!" But great lady, great lady.
Mhm.
Let's see. This is their mother in 1960, or sorry, she died in 66. So this is, it says up top 56. She was being taken care of by the group there for a long time. So this is who they call Nellie Harrington.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, bless her heart.
This is Martin's
Right,
wife.
right.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, so here's Howard's paint store in Corning. Now this was interesting here because we tried to figure out, does this still exist? And it's kind of weird because Corning has, tore down a good chunk of Market Street where a lot of these businesses were, and they put up, different businesses and what have you. And they basically renumbered the buildings. So it was very difficult to find, exactly what happened to this. So the story goes, if you zoom in on this, which I can't do at the moment, there's a reflection in the glass that you can see parts of it there very faintly, that actually there's an automotive store across the street from this. And that's how we were able to figure out where this thing really was. And oh, by the way, it still exists today. Not as a paint store. It's actually a coffee and tea shop now. But I want you to pay attention to the facade up here. This little jut out is still there. And this little artwork is still on the building as it exists today. This is their house on Hendy Creek Road, out the back.
Really, Mike? Oh my gosh. Wow.
Oop, wait, too fast.
Okay.
Not sure who that is.
Well, that looks enough like Leona.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. It must be a sister or her mother.
It could be. I don't recall anything on the back of it, but not sure who this is either. All right, so this is the one of those several of the
grottos, is what they call them?
Grotto, thank you. I can't remember the name of this. So he did, to my recollection, he did at least 5 of these. Mm-hmm. This one still exists. It's up in Corning next to the one of the churches up there.
I was just going to ask you, Mike, if that was the one I looked at.
It is. The way we know this, and what's happened is you'll see a picture of what it looked like when he built it, and the only difference, if I recall, is the top was blown off or was vandalized or what have you. But bottom line, this is a picture that was taken. Let's see here, 2016, and it still exists. Beautiful, beautiful work.
Mm-hmm.
The zoom in of it there. Now, he also did one down in Jacksonville at the church that they were at down there. I was able to see that with Great Aunt Helen. She showed me that back in the 90s. I do not know, I don't even recall exactly. I want to say St. John's, maybe. Not exactly sure where that was at.
All those stones and things, he generally, they would go out on Sunday to Hendy Creek or something, and he would gather those stones in the creek bed or wherever he could get them. Yeah, but he usually sourced those stones himself. Oh, wow. And I think his kids had to help. I remember right.
Reluctantly.
Yeah, so this is Leona in the same car that you saw Howard in earlier. Looks like a Bonnie and Clyde gangsters.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're right, Mike. Oh, it's that Grandma Leona.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! Look at how pretty she is.
Howard in the background.
Whoop.
That's Leona. That's Grandma Leona right there.
Oh my! I love it.
And it just says taken at Mulholland is all it says at the top there. If you can't read that.
It was always kind of a puzzle to me because Leona was so shy, and Howard was so he just straight ahead, damn the torpedoes. He would do anything, and he was not at all shy. And I always wondered how they managed to get together, but I can see that she was a flapper, and so she wasn't all sweetness and light.
Right.
But they say opposites attract. I don't know.
I guess.
All right.
Oh,
That's
oh,
obit there.
oh, there's Mom. Oh my goodness, look at that.
That's probably Howard.
That,
Yeah,
that, that the picture,
this is Grandpa Harrington and my mom. Yeah.
right? He shows parts of his
Oh,
fingers
Helen.
missing, right? In that picture.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So
uh-huh.
you see right here on his left hand, he's missing the last two fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, tell the story, Mike.
Well, yeah. So he used to tell us as kids that he, fought alligators or a dog bit him off, or he gave us all kinds of stories.
And we ate it up.
Yeah.
and we bought all that. But apparently the true story was he was playing with blasting caps that
Yeah.
that his dad used with the railroad or something along those lines,
Yeah.
and blew his fingers off. I want to say middle 20s or maybe early 20s, something along those lines.
Well, I don't know. It was probably while his dad, or Martin at least, was still alive.
Right,
Because
right.
yeah, because
So
he never had those fingers the whole time I knew him either.
right. So yeah, so Martin got killed by a train. I'll get into that in a minute here in 1928. Howard was born in 1906 and March 31st March 29th of 1906. So yeah, see, I want to say early 20s, something along those lines. And there's their car again. I don't even know what year car. Hey Tom, let's endeavor to figure out what model and year car that is.
Is that a Dodge?
I
I'll
do not know.
I'll research that. Yeah, send me a picture.
We'll see. We'll see. There's another picture in here with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he liked Dodge.
Oh
Well, now
my God.
he did that mural
Oh
on
my
Yes.
God, that's
that
Yes.
Handy
beautiful.
I do
Creek.
remember. That is. I do remember
Okay.
that.
So
Yes.
again, some of his artistry here. So this is one of a couple that he did. So he did a mural that I wish I had a photo, and I was hoping when I talked to you before, Mary, I was hoping that maybe you or Richard might have taken one. He did one outside of his back door in Jacksonville. And basically, just like you see, a great big, huge mural like that. And he actually integrated a real oak tree into the mural.
Oh,
So it was really cool. So maybe 3 or 4 feet out his back door, you saw this. You walked out the door right into this beautiful looking mural with a tree as part of it. It was very creative, very creative.
well, no, I think we did end up with one that he had discarded. He had not finished it, and uh, it just really wasn't one of his better works. And so I think we did end up with that one, but I was disappointed that Richard didn't uh, ask for more than one or some of his better pictures. But I know he and I had that in common. We would talk about painting when we visited, but he was usually so quiet, and we'd just go to bed at 8 o'clock, and the visit usually would consisted of long silences, and he wasn't much of a talker.
Right. So again, I think we were right when we projected earlier that this is Leona's dad.
Uh-huh.
Wow. With Mom? Wow.
Yep. So Richard, Leona's dad, our mother, and then Shirley.
No.
These are I believe this is her younger sister, Leona's younger sister that married a shear.
Okay.
That's that same. Okay, so here's what it looked like when he built it way back in the day. I'm going to go back and forth between there. So if you'll notice, the cross is missing off the top.
Uh-huh.
Okay, see, it's gone now. So we saw this, for years and years and years in Mom's photo album. This was taken in November of '63, or processed anyway in '63. And of course, you'll notice that you don't have the overgrowth around it and what have you. And this is at St. Vincent's in Corning. It says built by Howard. Again, just absolutely gorgeous. And then one more time, what it looks like today.
Now, Mike, didn't you suggest that maybe the flood took it out?
Well, so I thought that was a possibility, but when I researched how far the flood had gone up the banks, it didn't get this high.
Okay.
So it was either storm, vandalism. I'm not sure what took the cross off the top, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Thousands Island Cottage that they apparently stayed at.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the end of those pictures. Let me take a break there. Questions on anything?
How you doing, Kath?
I'm doing great.
Okay. How about you, John?
Fine, and I'm just so impressed, Michael. You've done a fantastic job. I was not expecting something this well done.
All right. Well, thank you. Again, I'm not going to take all the credit here. So Sue and Tom have helped along the way, as have a bunch of other folks. I'm just kind of presenting what I've collected ever since the 90s, working on the family history. All right. So we have that. So let me get out of that for a minute here. Let's see what else I have. I have some Howdy and Shirley, if you'd like to see any of those. I don't think I have a whole lot of those, but we'll click through those really quickly here. Here's Uncle Howard and Annette and Jane.
And, yeah, Janie.
Yeah.
And Steve.
And Steve. Okay, thank you.
Now,
Again,
Scott's the baby of that family, right, Mary?
Excuse me? Yes.
Scott's the baby. Okay. Aww. Oh, look at that.
And I can't really narrate to these because, again, this was one of those things where I don't think I ever personally have met the children. I've met Howard and I think Annette once or twice in my entire life, which is strange for first cousins, but we are where we are.
We never met you, Kath, and we never met you, John, but glad to have you on board today to go down the history. Who's that? Annette?
Yeah.
Annette was an airline stewardess for Pan American Airlines.
She was? Wow.
Really? I did not know that. Okay.
Wow.
I did hear that over the years.
And that must be her uniform.
Wow.
That's Howdy.
That's Uncle Howie. Oh my
goodness. Look at those dimples.
Uh-huh. Well, you have dimples, Mike.
Who that?
Who that? Howie.
That must be Howard's first communion.
Yeah, 1937. Yeah, he was born in 30, so yeah, you're probably right.
That's when he was in the Merchant Marine Academy, and that's Annette. Her sister was known as Betsy, and she was a supermodel in New York City.
Right.
And Annette's family, I think, was fairly well-to-do.
Yeah.
She ran in pretty exclusive circles.
That's correct. Her maiden name was Pickering.
Yes, I think so.
And you're exactly right.
Pickering.
You're exactly right, Aunt Mary. I've actually researched her side of the family, and that's exactly what I found. They were fairly well-to-do.
And they ran around with shipping magnates after Howdy, when they went to the West Coast, and Howdy became, I don't know what his title was, but he was in charge of the Star shipping lines and did a lot of traveling and establishing port berths and stuff for that. And that's a Norwegian, I think, shipping line.
Yeah, so I actually exchanged many emails with Howard towards the end of his life when he was world traveling, and what he was doing was going around to everywhere from Korea to the Middle East, and he was revisiting a lot of the sites that he helped set up, like the dock systems and what have you that they used. It was very fascinating.
Yes, and he was a rock hound. Every place he went, he did searching for precious rocks or extraordinary rocks of different kinds, and it was Annette's main complaint about him, and there was just rocks all over in their house.
Well, I
Nice.
have to interject, Mary, because when Howie was in town for a class reunion, well, in Corny, he called me and he said, "Hey, Susie, get a hold of all your brothers and sisters, and I want to take everybody out for dinner, my treat." So when we finally met up with him, he had a gift for myself, Tom's wife, Tammy. I think I can't even remember. There was a lot of people because some of them were out of state and couldn't join. But he taken rocks,
There's John.
turned them into jewelry. Hey, John, look at you! Okay, look at you. Okay,
John.
I have no idea where that would be.
Well, that was taken at Howard's house when you went up to visit them when you were in California.
Have you ever seen this before?
I will tell you, I went there for Christmas or whatever, and everybody was opening gifts and laughing and so forth, and I opened something up and said, "Wow, this I appreciate it. Hey, this could be soap on a rope," and I was just indicating that's the worst possible gift that you could put everybody. And the next gift that I opened was soap on a rope.
Have you ever seen this picture before?
I don't think so. And this was, but I don't know how you found this. So,
Well, again, I can only assume this came out of my mother's group of photos. I'm not sure how she would have gotten it, but
well,
interesting.
that was when you were working for the music people in Oakland, and you went up to Howdy's. He came down to get you for Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting photo. Thank you.
Cute Lake.
Cute Lake. Okay. Who's that though? Oh, look at that handsome gentleman.
Here? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also I'm heavy duty into, of course, the genealogy. So I have thousands of newspaper articles. I'm not lying when I say this. So, for example, I did stuff like I looked up Grandpa Harrington's phone number, and anytime his phone number ever appeared in the paper, I would go see what it was about. And most all of it was advertising for his businesses that he had over the years. But every now and then you'd come across an interesting one or two. It'll say, "Hey, I got caught for a speeding ticket," or something along the lines. And so I have all kinds of articles that are I'll share a few of them, but certainly not all. But so anyway, through the work, and Tom has also done a good bit of this for us on the on the Harrington side down in northern Pennsylvania, which I'll hopefully, if we don't have enough time, I can get into as well. I'm going to leave it up to y'all as to how long you want to go. I'll go on for forever. But anyway, so this is one of many.
Oh my gosh, where did you get that? That is phenomenal.
The question is, where is he?
Yeah, where is he?
I'd have to study it. Maybe here.
Well,
not sure.
Okay.
Have to do some facial recognition on him.
Yeah, I don't see anybody that looks like him in there.
Jane.
Janie.
Too bad she couldn't join. She'd love that. Oh gosh. Oh, look at her. Oh, look at her.
Kathy.
Jane, Steve, and Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Janie.
Janie, yeah. Look at her. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Oh,
That's Steve, I think.
That's Scott.
It's Scott.
That's Scott.
Oh,
oh my goodness, Mike. Where'd you get all these? Okay, who's that?
I know this is his I want to say his prom
Senior
date,
prom? Yes.
senior prom date, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I remember my sister, Deb, she saw this and she was insanely jealous.
Wait, go ahead. Tell a story, please.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
She's like, wow, he's so handsome.
well, one of them did modeling, and I think it was Scott. I think he earned his living for a while doing modeling of expensive clothes and things, probably through his aunt.
Gotcha.
Wow. Aw. Aw.
That's Steve.
Yeah, that's Steve.
It's Stevie, yeah. Steve, Jane, Howie. Aw. Look at that little girl cuddling up to her grandpa or dad. I'm sorry. Steve, yep. Where'd you? Oh my God. I'm impressed, Mike. Where'd you get all
right. So that's the end of that.
Okay. Okay.
And then let's do Shirley real quick, which I don't have a whole lot here, but
yeah. Aw.
Shirley and her husband, Bob Allen.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh. Oh, look at that. Shirley. Mm-hmm.
Looks like I just took a. I don't reckon. So this might maybe. Not sure where I got these from.
I think that's Shirley's kids, isn't it?
No, it is. It is. But I'm trying
right?
to figure. I'm trying to figure out where I would have gotten the photos from.
Oh,
because they're all together like that. But anyway.
Okay.
Jim,
he's the one that took care of his mom till she passed on December 1st. Yeah,
Jim. Blue eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's Christine.
Mm-hmm. I remember that picture actually.
Mark.
But he looks so different now. So different. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Isn't he the lawyer in either Washington or New York?
Oh, look at you. Yes, Mary. He is. And he's the one that rode a bike cross country to California.
And he came to visit us on that trip.
Oh, did he? Okay. That's right. You told me. Mm-hmm.
There's Tom.
Uh-huh. Look at him.
I don't look like me.
Yeah, wrong Tom.
Oh, look at that. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember that picture. I don't know from where, but I remember seeing that before.
All right, that's all I have for their side. Not a lot, but yeah.
Okay. All
right, so we've been through all of those. Let me put that down for just a minute, and
here we go.
I've got again tons of newspaper articles. Let's start with this one.
Okay. Oh, bless you, Mike.
Hang on, let me get the right zoom on this.
Yeah. Oh, Mary, this is your.
Oh,
isn't that amazing what he found?
Yes. That's from a small town newspaper. I must have been one of the things that Leona cut out because I think that's the only way that could have gotten here.
Well, no. So Mary, this is off of newspapers.com. Okay, so this is in the Daily Sentinel on April.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. So I go on there and I search for, like I said, every which way to Sunday to try to find information.
Uh-huh.
And it just happened to hit on this the other day when I was looking at it. I'm like, oh, there it is right there. So April 3rd of 1955, Sunday paper.
April 2nd they got the 3rd there.
Well, but this is the paper. It was a Sunday
Oh,
paper. This was put in the Sunday paper.
oh, okay.
So it'll say, you go in there, it'll say, she was married yesterday or what have you. I'm not sure. You were wearing a waltz length white tulle over taffeta, something or other. I don't know what that says. Worn by the bride with a fingertip veil.
Oh.
My.
Was held by
Wow.
was held by a crown of simulated stephanotis.
Yeah.
She carried an illusion fan of white hyacinthia.
Oh.
Hyacinth. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's really very nice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So next, I'll just go ahead and leave that up there for a second, and then I've got over in my genealogy folder, I've got a ton of other stuff that we can talk about and or show you, depending on what you're interested, how deep you want to go. So let's talk about Martin Harrington just for a moment here. So Martin was Grandpa's, quite frankly, he's his father. Martin Harrington and Helen Harrington raised him from a month old all the way, all the way through. So
you mean Nellie, Martin and Nellie, right?
Helen,
Yeah.
she went by Nellie. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I forgot
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay.
Martin, here's a picture of him down here.
Oh my goodness. That's quite a mustache.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sure is. Oh, handsome dude.
And then he was hit. He was I can't remember the name of it. Help me out here, Tom. He was the leader, foreman, or what have you, of a chain gang crew for the railroad, the local railroad there in Corning. And he ultimately got hit by a train. They had a freak snowstorm in late April. I'm talking like April 28th. Got all kinds of snow. He went out to apparently go check the railroad tracks, and he got hit by a train. The family didn't agree with the supposed investigation and findings that he fell asleep on the rail or some other baloney story. So they sued. His mother or his wife sued over his death. And ultimately, Sue and Tom helped me do it's pretty much as deep of an investigation as we possibly could into finding out exactly what happened. And this again was in April of 1928. So all of the kids, they were in their, late teens, early 20s when he passed away. So Helen Harrington, the older lady that you saw in the rocking chair earlier, she had to raise the 4 kids on her own, pretty much, for the rest of their rearing and what have you. So first of all, let's do investigation number 1. Well, let's do this first. So in the paper, I'll let you spend just a second reading that.
I still wish we had the DA's files on that, Mike, but
Yeah, I'll talk about it in a second.
okay. Mhm. Okay. Wow.
All right. So again, they claim that apparently had fallen asleep while patrolling a section of the tracks due to the freak snowstorm that happened. Again, family didn't go for that and what have you. So they sued. They did a deeper investigation into this and came up with a couple of things. Investigation number 1. This is going to be difficult to read. I'll see if I can zoom in some to help you here. Can you guys read that, or is that too small?
I can see it.
Okay. This one doesn't tell you a whole lot other than they talks about, they got the district attorney involved in launching the investigation. This is again just telling you that, hey, they didn't, the circumstances were kind of sketchy, so let's do a full-blown investigation into this.
Well, excuse me. I was just going to say that if it was a snowstorm and he was out inspecting the tracks, I doubt very much that he fell asleep on the tracks. That doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know what happened, but I don't see anybody sitting down on the tracks in a snowstorm.
Agree.
Right.
All right, and then Sue and Tom were able to find out a different investigator, or a follow-up article. And of course, I got to renew my, that's all right, which reads this. So while you're reading there was a hypothesis that he was killed somewhere else and put on the tracks to make it look like he was hit by the train,
Was there the story about the footprints in the snow? 2 sets, 1 set?
Yeah, it's right here. It's right in this second paragraph.
I can't see that far.
Well, gosh. Oh man. Oh geez, Mike, you've done so much great good here. The history, wow.
All right, so the bottom line here is they investigated the report that there was 2 sets of tracks heading to the railroad, but only 1 set coming back. So therefore, hey, that's probable cause that he was placed there. That's about as far as that went. Now, I'm of the belief that even in 1928, if they opened up a case on there's got to be case files for this. So we actually tried to get a hold of those case files and see whether they still exist. And the truth of the matter is apparently they do. However, all efforts to try to get a hold of them has not met with anything at all. We've not been successful getting a hold of any of that stuff. It just so happened that we were doing this investigation just around the time COVID hit. So that played into it as well. And then the one lady said, "Hey, we have bigger priorities than to worry about dead people that have been dead 100 years." So she basically blew us off. But the bottom line is we know exactly where Mr. Andrews' house down here, this Andrews home that it talks about, we know exactly where that was. And therefore, in walking distance, we know the area of the tracks where he was hit. But beyond that, we don't know any other details beyond that. So anyway, we investigated it ourselves to the extent that we could. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Here's Martin, which is the same picture you saw. But this is his dad, Thomas Harrington, off here to the left.
You remember me posting that on Facebook, Kath?
Oh, yep.
Great grandpa and our great grandma.
Well, so that goes back there even further.
Yeah.
Michael, just a question.
Sure.
Before we leave all that behind, was there any kind of thinking about what kind of motive there would have been if there was if there was.
Yeah, well, to the extent that we, here we are investigating it 100 years after it happened. You know, I know we talked about it, but I wasn't able to come up with anything that said, he got in a bar fight with somebody, or he owed money to somebody, or we were never able to do any other angle, as it were, towards who might have put him there if he was in fact placed there. But yeah, we certainly talked about the possibility, but it never got any further than that.
Okay, thank you.
But hey, we can always reattack. I'm perfectly good to do that. Let's see. So I can talk about the I don't want to use the term real father, his biological father. This is Howard's biological father. If you're interested, if not, I can skip over that. But we also have, let's see. So here's an interesting story, and I'll defer to Tom because he was actually the investigator for a lot of this. So when we first started back in 1991, digging into the Harrington history, it took us to a place called Costello, Pennsylvania, and we were going through. We didn't know how to search a cemetery, effectively or anything like that, so it wasn't very big. So we go to this cemetery and searched it from one end to the other, and we found one Harrington tombstone. It was for a Bridget Harrington, Bridget, Bridget, and no other Harringtons in there. So we're like, he's supposed to be buried here. Where is this guy at? And we were looking for Thomas Harrington and his family. Thomas being Martin's dad. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. This guy's tombstone. So we couldn't find it, but yet he was supposed to be there. So help me out here, Tom. Did we leave a note for the caretaker, or he happened to be away for lunch or something like that? You remember?
I don't remember that part. I defer back to you about the cheesecloth, the fire department, head of the fire department. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bottom line is they kept the records of who was where on a cheesecloth, which you're taking a look at right here. Well, so when the time we were there, and what I want you to focus on is this area 47 right here, or plot number 47. It looks like it says Harrington, THOS, across here, and then if you look here, there are 5 different names written. Well, the way these plots work is they're got room in the lot for 8 people. So it's 4 people across this side and another 4 people back here. Okay, well, there wouldn't be 5 people. There's not enough room for 5 people here. So it was a big mystery for quite some time as to what these names truly said. And I'm not sure whether you're going to have a clue who I'm talking about, but there was actually a lady who lived in Rochester, New York. Her name was Beverly Harrington, who, when I was in the service, I reached out to her because I lived right there in Rome, New York, when I was stationed in Griffiths Air Force Base. And I got a hold of her, and she happened to be looking in the same cemetery at the same time for the same person. Believe it or not, the same summer we were there, she was there, and we didn't know each other. So she's like, "Oh, yeah, it's the name on there is Charles." And we're like, Charles? Who's Charles? Never heard of a Charles. So we chase that down and figure out that there really is no Charles. So what it really says is this. It says Harrington Thomas, and it says Thomas Harrington. And then it says Thomas's Mary, THOS Mary, John, and James. So there's really only 4 people buried across there. It's just the way they spelled this out is what it really says. And we're ultimately able to figure that out as we went further back. So
I remember Tom and I going to this place, and this lady with this cheesecloth very carefully opened it because it's falling apart. he doesn't remember, obviously, but oh my gosh, you really, oh my gosh, you're putting it all together, Mike. Fantastic. Okay,
Yeah,
here we go, Thomas.
we were able to get his last will and testament from the local I can't think today. Local clerk where he registered his will. We were able to read through that and figure out all of that was kind of interesting. He pretty much left everything to one of his sons. He didn't have a heck of a whole lot, but I don't want to waste a whole lot of time getting into that. But that's what most of these documents are that you see there. And then the other thing, to our surprise, was we went back to the same cemetery where I told you there was no marker, and then all of a sudden that showed up.
Somebody had money.
So somebody after the fact, and this is after 1991, when we were there, or 92, or whenever we were there, early 90s, somebody after 1991 had this headstone placed there. And we're like, who was that? Who would have done that? Well,
tell me, Mike.
It just so happens I was just talking about Great Aunt Helen. Well, she was very much friends with another Harrington from. It would take me a minute to show you the linkage, but just trust me on this. A Joseph Harrington, and his granddaughter was still alive, and her family ended up buying this stone and having this placed in the middle 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It freaked us out. We're like, wait a minute, that was not there. Who put that there?
Right, Tom and I went to the cemetery. It's like, okay, is it by the tree? Is it by the fence? Yes, we did.
Right. Yeah. So that was actually put there over the years. So we were able to. I've since reached out to this woman. Her name is Jean Campbell. She lives down in near Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and she's the one that actually helped me with learn how to do DNA. And through the DNA is how we were ultimately able to prove who Grandpa Harrington's real father, or not real father, who biological father is or was. We did a number. So I don't know if you knew this or cared, but we actually Uncle Howard, he was very interested towards the end of his life on trying to figure that out. So he wrote to Great Aunt Helen. She wrote what she knew in a letter called that she put together and wrote the story out. Well, so he and I connected probably maybe about 10 years ago or so, and he actually agreed to have his DNA taken. Mm-hmm. So we took his DNA. Unfortunately, I didn't know what I was doing with DNA at the time. I didn't know how to make one end of the connect to the other. And then I finally connected with this Miss Jean Campbell, who is a descendant of Joseph Harrington, and she explained to me how all of that works. So we conversed probably for about a year and a half over this, and eventually I got a hold of Howard had passed away, and I got a hold of his son Scott.
Yeah,
and Scott agreed to have his DNA taken as well. And what I was looking for was a certain characteristic of the DNA, and I was able to get it from Scott, which ultimately proved the linkage to Grandpa Harrington's biological father. That's how we were able to figure that out, beyond a doubt, or what is it, 99.99%, whatever the math works out to. Anyway, so that's a little story there. Let's see here. There were a couple of other interesting little nuggets that are out there.
Okay, what you got?
Let's see here. So let's talk about Howard's birth for just a second. So this has been a difficult one to prove out. So the story was that he was actually, or he was supposedly born at Arnott Ogden Hospital in Elmira, New York. Well, it turns out we're of the belief now that that was not the case, and let's explain why. So he was born in Wellsboro, right, Tom?
Right, Wellsboro.
Right. Okay.
Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, in 1906.
Or nearby there.
Or close by there. And back then, every birth and every death pretty much made the newspaper. Even if you took a trip to the city, it would say, Stephen Bennett and his wife took a sleigh ride to the city today. That made the paper. Pretty much anything you did out of the ordinary made the newspaper. So there was no birth announcement in the paper for him, none. Okay. So we believe he was born at home in a place called Sabensville, Pennsylvania, which is where his mother was her parents lived, is where we believe he was born. There's a bunch of other artifacts to that effect, but again, I don't want to step on this too deep if you don't want to go there. It's kind of a touchy subject, is what I'm trying to say.
But I think everybody really is interested, particularly from my children, from their dad's bloodline. I think that I think they're interested in that, and I don't see where there's any shame or anything connected with the situation.
Yeah, I can say from my own experience with it, I also was a bit taken back when I read all this, and I'm like, oh no, that just blows the whole thing. And I was depressed about it. I really was. But then I realized, I still am who I am. As far as I'm concerned, he was a Harrington. Period. Dot. And that's also what his sisters thought of him as well. My brother was a Harrington, plain and simple. They treated him that way, his whole life. So, while yes, it may be true that he has a different biological father, I look at it as his air quote real father was Martin Harrington. That's the way I look at it. I can't speak for you, but that's again the way I look at it. So I will press on unless somebody says something to the contrary. So there is let's see here. Do I have it up here? Let me start closing some of this down. So
you are doing a beautiful job, Mike.
All right. Hopefully you can see this. When I do this, is this blocked by your pictures? Can you see all the way over?
Yes, I can see that also.
Okay. So what this is this is a timeline we put together to try to figure out what were the circumstances beyond his birth. And his biological father, for cutting to the chase, his name is George Miller. And ultimately, he was a bartender at a hotel, a very famous hotel in Wellsboro called the Coles House. That Coles House is still there today under a different name, but the building is still there. It's still a hotel even today. So doing the backwards math there, he was, conceived somewhere around July 4th, which of course was a holiday in 1905, and then ultimately born in March of March 29th of 2006 of 1906. And then I also interleaved into here was the relationship between Martin and Nellie. Her maiden name was Higgins. Martin and Nellie Harrington. They got married in February of that same year, so they're brand new newlyweds. Nellie's sister Beatrice. So his biological mother's name was Beatrice Higgins. That was Nellie's sister. Okay. So Nellie, we think, went to go visit and live with her, even though she got freshly married. Not a month later, she went to her parents' house in Sabensville. We think it was to take care of Bea, who was now very pregnant and couldn't be working any longer. Beatrice was actually a waitress in the same hotel that George Miller was a bartender in. And what we were able to figure out, or we believe again, that Nellie or Helen Higgins went to her parents' house to help take care of Bea and soon to be the baby that arrived. So just a couple of weeks later. Well, sure enough, Howard was born on the 29th of March, 1906. And now here's what's weird. There is a story. Have you on the John or Kathy? Have you seen the letter from Helen Higgins about this?
I haven't.
I have not.
All right. I'll tell you what, let me pick this back up in just a second. Let me get the letter up here for just a second. So I just got to find out what I did with it. Let's see here. Howard and DNA. Trying to find out where I've stuck the letter.
Hi. Okay.
Let me back out here. Well, let me just do this. There it is. Okay, so I told you a moment ago that Uncle Howard, he wanted to know who his real father or his biological father really was. So he kept pestering Helen, great aunt Helen, who lived in Jacksonville for a number of years. Well, she finally wrote him in 1999 to explain to him what exactly she knew as it applied to the story of Grandpa Harrington's birth. I'll let you read some of this. You don't need to go too far, but hang on, let me recalibrate where you're at here. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next page.
Yes. $1,000 was a lot of money back then.
Oh, yeah, right.
Hmm. How you doing, Aunt Mare?
Just fine. I'm a slow reader, so I'm
I
glued
am
to the
too. I
screen.
am too. Okay.
Well, this is quite a letter. This was from Aunt Helen.
Yes, great Aunt Helen.
Hmm. And I think probably uh, she probably knew these things pretty well. I think she was probably pretty accurate.
Right. And I'm just gonna once we're done here, I'm gonna challenge a little bit of this,
Okay.
and you'll see why. Anyway, so this goes on.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to read that a little slower to take it all in. That's a lot of information.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, we're recording this, and if you want, individual copies of this kind of stuff, I can email anything you want.
Well, I think since I've never seen the letter before, and I can share it with the kids here, but John would need a separate. If I think an email of the letter would be very much appreciated, at least for me.
Oh. Yeah, Mike can do that, Mare. Yeah.
Okay.
And John, yeah.
Couple things.
Yeah.
We have been all over this letter, investigating every aspect of it, as you can probably imagine, because we were just as anxious to get an answer to this as well. Sue and Tom, I believe, have gone to Corning and St. Mary's up there, and to try to find any baptismal record that he might have been baptized up there, and we're unsuccessful finding anything.
Yep.
Also, no dice with the Catholic Church down in Wellsboro either. I wrote to them a number of times. I do have a couple of artifacts that they were able to help me with, which help prove what I'm going to show you here in just a second. All right, so that's the letter that I probably should have started with. So when I got this, like I said, I was taken back immediately, going, "Oh, what do you mean? That's awful." Well, so let's pick at this piece right here for just a second here. So when you look at what I'm going to show you, you're going to probably question this, I'm going to say claim, or this statement. So let me go back to, that's not that. Sorry, wrong one. Let me get back to the picture. All right, so what's strange here is we were able to determine and found the newspaper article when George Miller was absolutely a bartender at the Coles house, no doubt. We also know that Beatrice Higgins, his biological mother, also worked there as a waitress, basically, as well in the hotel. We believe that they were partying it up in and around July 4th, holiday weekend kind of thing. Was probably pretty, think about what they're able to do in a hotel back, in a town back then. You didn't have internet, most of how they celebrated life were typically, parties along those ways, along those lines. All right, so here he is, born right here. Now here's the weird part. Not even a month later, in April, Beatrice's sister Sarah got married in the church right there in Wellsboro. Look at who her best man was. Okay, so the logic here is, if a horrible thing like rape happened to Beatrice, why would her sister have her rapist in her wedding a month later?
Curious.
Doesn't, at least to me anyway, again, this is just our point of view, it doesn't seem to hold water. So what we think happened was, and maybe Mary could, give us some perspective from life in those years, maybe not all the way back here, but life back then, it could probably tell us. So we believe that she probably had an indiscretion with Mr. Miller. She was a single mother that was very much shunned upon back in the day. And we think this was a cover story, is what we think this was. Her sister, Nellie, ended up taking Howard as their own. Right after they got married, they actually took him in June of that year. So he was only April, May, June, 3 months old when they took him as their own. Is what we believe happened.
And I remember you sent me to Wellsboro to see if there was any legal documentation about an adoption.
Right.
Yeah, and I couldn't find it. No, I couldn't.
So, right. So we could find no record of adoption whatsoever. I do have the artifacts from the church on the weddings that prove that George Miller was in fact the best man. I've got all of that. So what we really think, the big picture is what we think happened again was Nellie, after being freshly married to Martin, went to help her sister Beatrice right here in Sabinville. We believe she was there to help out Beatrice, and of course, when Howard was born, right after Howard was born. Life went on for a little bit there, and then we believe she offered to, air quote, take Howard as their own 3 months later, is the way we believe that went down. Okay?
That's incredible.
Sounds good.
All right.
How you doing, Kath?
So the next is I went to try to prove that through DNA. And I was successful. And it kind of goes like this, if I can find the right, let's see here. Letter, I got off on a church, genealogy, Harrington, Thomas, Martin James, and then William Howard. Okay. I think it's this one here. I've got so many of these, I lose track of who's who. No, this is, okay. Yeah, this is part of it here to kind of help you out what's going on. So George Miller and Beatrice up here in the upper left had Howard Sr. in 1906. He was raised by Nellie, his Beatrice's sister. And then there's, let's see, for your folks, of course, you're under Richard, which I didn't delineate underneath there, but that's how that fits together. And then here's Great Aunt Helen, who wrote the letter right here about the whole thing. Okay, so she was third in line. You know, it was Howard, Margaret, Helen, Dorothy, Frances, and Irene was how those go. 5 girls and Howard. All right, and then this is the DNA piece of it. So I was able to go and find using actually 23andMe, and also there is a specific pattern in DNA. Just if you're not familiar with it, just know that it's the Y portion, Y as in Yankee, the Y portion of the DNA. You're able to track because it always follows through the male of the family, always. So I was able to get Scott Harrington's DNA. He helped me with this, and then when the results came back, I went on a website. It's called GEDmatch, and what it does is it links you to anybody else out there that's anywhere close to your DNA matches. And somebody came up, this Timothy Ewan, and I'm like, that's a bizarre name. How is it that this guy fell into this? So I wrote him. I said, hey, who were your parents? And then he said that, and I can't, this is in the way here. Let me see if I can move this out of the way so I can see around it here. He said, my dad's name was, he was Korean, but his mother was this Christine Ann Miller. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. So I said, "Hey, is your mother still around?" And he goes, "Yes." I said, "Are there any males that are still around?" And he said, "No." However, we were able to figure out that it's the male side of his DNA that were linked them back through these Millers like this, ultimately to Conrad, who had these two boys. So we were able to prove definitively. Again, it gets really minute in the minutia on how you do that, but suffice to say, he is a link. So I said, Timothy, was there any other sons that were born to Bert Miller that might have another path that I can? What I was looking for is I was looking for male to male to male to male, and as you can see here, I don't have it. It goes male, female down to him because his dad was Korean. So I was able to talk to Timothy, and he said, yes, Bert Marion Miller has a son that's still alive that I forget where he lives. So I said, would he be willing to provide DNA? So originally the guy said yes, but he never answered me. I don't know whether the gentleman's still alive or not. Bottom line is, we're never able to get the DNA from this gentleman. However, I was able to get a picture of him. So let me pull this back to the side again. And then I need to see, I want to do these side by side so you can see them.
Hey, quiet.
So here is Howard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Here is his half brother.
And I never knew that until you recently put it into play.
Come on.
I never knew he had a half brother. Look at that. Oh my gosh. The dimples and the nose
wrong one.
and the contour. Yeah. It looks like, yeah. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, he could be.
Michael, this is amazing work.
Well, thank you, John, for saying that, because he's been working on this for over
Yeah, this is
30 years.
amazing stuff. You weren't able to find a picture of George Miller, were you?
Other than I think I do. I want to say, help me out, Tom. Do we have pictures of George?
I don't recall any.
Let me look.
Hang on. A lot of pictures that I don't have.
Let me look. I don't think I do here, but let's see here. Large icons. Actually, I don't want that. I want to go large icons. I do. It doesn't look like I do.
He married and had more children.
Well, he did.
Oh,
he absolutely did. So, in a nutshell, George Miller actually died in 1919 during the massive influenza pandemic right after World War One.
Oh my gosh! How did you find that out?
Well, it's in his death certificate.
I know, but geez, Louise, you really put this
to the bit.
Yeah, you. Oh my gosh, Mike! I mean, seriously, you really.
Here, yeah, he died in influenza. So, as you're well aware, most people are aware. So that was the great flu pandemic, very similar to COVID, but 100 years prior, back in 1919, right, straight out of World War One.
Oh my God, Mike! Jeez, Louise.
Is when they passed away.
The details that you have research are phenomenal. Do you agree, John and Kathy?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he died 1919. So he remarried and had two boys. And let's see if I'm going to have to switch back over to my, don't want to save that either. Don't save it. Let me close out a few things here. I got too many things open. Don't need that either. All right, so let's go back into here. So if I do George Miller and view his tree. So here's what I know about him. So he married a Pauline Ortman, and they had two children, Harry George and Frederick C. And again, I'll defer to Tom here. I don't believe either one of them ever got married or had any kids.
Mm.
I don't believe that. That's correct.
I want to say Frederick. Let's click on him. He died in 2002. Oh, he did. I take that back. He was married to Anna Schaefer. I don't see any children listed under there, though. Let's see what I have on him. What is this? No, there we go. I want to see this. Frederick Miller, 89, died in his home. He's a husband, Anna Schaefer, whom he's married for 50 years. His brother-in-law, Gailton, he's the son of George and Pauline Ortman Miller. There's the link. Bacteriologist.
Really?
But it doesn't say anything about any kids. So I believe, Tom, we reconciled that there was no surviving bloodline.
Right.
When we looked at this before.
Oh my God.
Right. I wasn't sure about the marriages, but I don't think there's a bloodline connection.
All right. So hang on, but there's still bloodline on Beatrice's side. So let's look at that for just a minute here. So I'm gonna go back to Howard. So here's Beatrice. I don't want to see that. I want to see it like this. Stand by a second here.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Beatrice married Louis Tipple, Tipple.
Yeah.
And she had a son, Joseph.
Uh-huh.
And this continues on. So these people are, I believe, both alive. Charles and Richard. I haven't looked recently, so I couldn't tell you for sure, but he looks like this. Or looked like that, I should say.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hey, Kath, what do you think? That's amazing.
Well, I wonder if he looks like his dad.
Yeah, I don't that part I don't know. I'm trying to think how we would ever. There's a chance. Typically, yearbooks didn't start till probably the late 20s. There's a chance they might. And the other thing is, Pennsylvania birth certificates started in 1906. Although that's another reason why we believe Howard was not born in Arnon Ogden in New York, because we've written to the state of New York. They don't have a birth certificate. We've also written to the state of Pennsylvania. They do not have a birth certificate, even though the birth certificates were mandatory as of January 1st of 1906. So that is why we believe he was born at home in Sabensville, Pennsylvania.
That would make sense under the circumstances. So I guess the bloodlines, we don't have any blood association with the Tipple, just through Beatrice's blood.
Well, right. It would be from the female side from Beatrice, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hard to get right in my brain.
Well, it is. So what I probably should do is do another one of these how I fit in kind of thing, but with the Tipple part of it, and trace that through. Now, I'll freely admit to you, I haven't done anything recently. I would say once we found out the DNA part, that was probably circa maybe 2000-ish. Or not 2000, 2020. It's just before COVID. So I haven't done anything. So it's been 6 years since I've looked at that. So I'd have to refresh myself on that particular part of it.
The other thing that, this is Mary, the other thing that I like about Ancestry is a lot of times, as you put your information there, then other bits of information will come from other sources that link up with what you have put in. And so sometimes that expands things greatly. So since it's been 6 years, there may be additional information that has gravitated from other people.
Right. That's very much true, Mary. Thank you for that point. Also, they can constantly put more and more newspapers are available digitally. I found this out where, oh wait, they've added another 20 years worth of newspapers that weren't there before. Oh, that's pretty good. So absolutely, and I continue to do it, as does Sue and Tom. I keep saying, I'm not alone in this by any stretch. Some of the other interesting things, again, if I just want to go on just a little bit further here, go ahead.
was going to say, do you want to show them the paper article where the Tipples and the Millers are right after each other and the same?
This is amazing. Let me find out where that at. That's in the George Miller. I know. Let's see here.
There's a newspaper article, folks, that's I found years ago, and I let Mike know about it. It's an amazing coincidence, or
this is a 1 in a million coincidence.
yeah.
I just got to find
Well,
it here.
Right.
you all have done a magnificent job, and I thank you for sharing it with us. I mean, this represents tenacity beyond the normal.
Where the heck's that at?
You know, it's fun. It's absolutely fun and exciting to find clues that fit when you discover a piece of information you didn't have. And back then, we had to drive to the county seats of different places in Pennsylvania and whip out our quarters and put them in the copy machine, and
Oh.
they would dust off their ledgers.
Right.
Fascinating stories even back then. But we didn't find information every day, but it was still exciting.
Right. All right. So what you're looking at here, this is a history of every time George Miller showed up in the paper, in this particular paper, the Wellsboro Gazette. And of course, the date that the article in this particular case was 1907. So this was after Grandpa was born. Okay. So working our way back here. I told you, everything made the paper. He spent Sunday with friends. Wow.
Was it because he wasn't a local that it made the paper?
No.
It could have been, but like I said, we've seen, Mr. and Mrs. Stevenson took a sleigh ride today.
Oh.
I'll give you just a little bit of background on that. I was a reporter for a newspaper, and you got paid by the inch. So you had to find as much information about what was going on in your neighborhood as possible so that you could put in the paper so that it would increase your salary.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to get to that one article Tom's talking about. It's coming up here.
You might have said it, but how old were George and Beatrice when they met?
So that's on the timeline that I showed earlier. Let's see if I still have that up. I think I closed it.
Wondering if you know offhand.
Was it like 31 and 29 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I want to say late 20s, and also I want to say late 20s for him, and I want to say she was 26 or something like that. All right, here it is. This is in the same paper. Now keep in mind the date. Now this is well after he's born. Grandpa's born. This is in the same paper, right on top of each other.
Which is Beatrice being Mrs. Lewis Tipple, and
Mrs. Lewis Tipple is Beatrice Higgins, his mother, and then here's his dad, his biological father.
Why do you suppose they didn't get married?
That's a good question. I never really put a whole lot of brain cells to try to figure that out. I don't know.
It's so odd that they were in the same area. They both ended up getting married, but just not to each other.
Anyway, that was one of the interesting things that came out that we found.
That's crazy.
Well, the thing is, a lot of times it was because that birth was out of wedlock was such a stigma that people did a lot of things to hide it. And even though it looks like they sort of visited one another as families and stuff, they would never let that secret out because of the amount of stigma it would cause. So that was probably had something to do with it.
I wonder if their spouses knew about the others.
That's another good
Yeah.
another good take on it. Yeah.
Oh dear.
There's another couple of cool ones here. Again, these are just a couple of the many thousands and hundreds and thousands of these I have. Not just for Harrington, I'm talking all together. But there was one where he bid on painting here it is right here. 3 major buildings in Corning. And I'm thinking, how the heck would he do this? And in here it'll talk about who bid on this particular building. Right down here, W.H. Harrington and Sons of Elmira bid on this particular project, but he didn't win this particular one right here. But one of them he did win. I think it was one of these. I gotta find it here. All right, there you go. A low bid of 5,766 was submitted by W.H. Harrington and Sons on Gaines Street. 30 work days to do the county buildings.
Wow.
Well, and the thing that really was so hard for him was in the estimations of how much it was going to cost and how much it actually did cost. And many times Howard didn't take a salary or took very little because he had to pay his painters and his contractors and for the supplies. But they were some of the relatives thought that they had lots of money, but they really were living pretty close to the edge a lot of times because he would just bid low so he could get the job. And then he would have to work himself and his painters and his kids really, really hard. And it was so difficult because of his lack of education, I think, for him to estimate well enough so they could have a good living. And so I think that was a very difficult. Oh, look, there it is.
So
Yeah.
the only giveaway on this was because again, this little jut out is
Yeah.
gone. It's not there, but this, you can't see it very clearly on this picture, but the pattern right here is exactly this pattern, and this jut out is still the same. So this is his paint store nowadays.
Well, and the family lived in the upstairs
Right.
because Richard wanted to play the drums. He wanted to be another Gene Krupa, and he would practice his drums, and his father would come upstairs and throw him out to go someplace else to practice his drums because he didn't think it was good for customers to have to listen to that.
Wow.
So we're able to figure that out. Let's see here. Here's the one of those paintings I was explaining, where we found 4. I want to say it was 4 or 5, maybe 6 of them underneath the bed down in Jacksonville when he lived there when he passed away. That's roughly, help me out, Tom. That's probably what, 2 feet by 2.5, maybe. I don't know, 18 by 2.5. It's good size.
Yeah, it's right. And that's Billy's painting, right?
Well, that's our brother Bill has that today.
Yeah.
We were able to find. Go ahead, you can tell the story, Tom.
No, I was just going to say there is. Well, let me turn the lights on. I can show you the 2 pictures that are hanging right here. Hang on a second. Okay, so this is the picture that. I don't know if you folks can see that.
You know how to share, Tom?
No, I'm just showing it. I do not. But that's one of the ones that Patty DeBuck.
Okay, that's it. All right.
And then here's the other one across the room. Let's see. Yeah, the glare is terrible. So I don't know
He
if you can
he
see any
he
details.
liked to paint very thick paint on his canvases, and I do too. So
Mhm.
that was, like I said, we talked about painting and techniques uh, when I talked with him, with Howard.
All
So
right. Let me kind of start wrapping up here a little bit, unless you got additional questions. So this is he's buried in Jacksonville, Florida, in Riverside Park. Been there many, many times. I don't know if I told you earlier, I live in Florida, about 5 hours away from there. But and of course, if you go on Find a Grave, you'll see that, and there's GPS coordinates where that is. The whole works is all out there. And of course, Leona is buried up there where you folks are. And then if you're not familiar with any of the Find a Grave, you can do this at your leisure. Let me get in here, and then I actually pull this out of the way here. I actually have the memorial for that. Let's see here, Harrington, here. That's Junior. All right, so here he is in Find a Grave. And then if you're interested, that's also has, most of the time it's got linkage to the rest of the folks. So all you got to do is, oh, here's Leona. So here's hers. And then her parents, you can get at it this way as well. And she had a ton of brothers and sisters, as you can see. I don't know if they had any other hobbies, but man, that's a bunch. And then of course your dad, Shirley, my mom. Here's my mom's and my dad's memorial to them, and what have you. And then of course our sister passed away last year, or I know, yeah, year and a half ago, give or take. But anyway, so that's available to you as well if you're interested in digging around yourself to see any of this information.
Well, Mike, I was wondering if you might send a follow-up email that gives us the information on how to access uh, your account on Ancestry.
Sure. So I can do that. It's pretty good. I just go in here and I'll invite you to it. That's a way to do it. Also, when you go into Ancestry, you have an account, right, Mary?
Kathy does.
Okay, whoever's got the account, if you search on anybody that's in common between my tree and your tree, it should come up and say, hey, the Bennett Rimmert family tree is tracking this person too, and you should be able to see it. Again, I'll explain that very, very succinctly in an email, but it's not that difficult to be able to do.
Okay, because with Kathy and I have to establish my own account because Kathy hasn't really been carrying it forward. And so I need to do that, and then I need to finish my dad's section and some other things that we didn't, that was when
Okay.
COVID hit, and
Sure.
so we kind of stopped at that point too. So now that we're still living in the same house, we could maybe do the transfer of her account to me, or somehow I have never figured that out. But it's quite an extensive. It's not as long as detailed as yours is, but there still is quite a lot of information there. Some of which went clear back to the people that lived in Scotland and Ireland and some of those places. So
Yeah,
Michael,
that
you've done such amazing work. You're just real general question. I was looking or listening to a discussion the other day about how the potato famine was the
Yeah.
major cause of the Irish migration to the shores of the United States.
Yes.
Were we
Yes.
part of that whole thing?
The Harringtons certainly were. The Irish potato famine is what you're talking about. That was in the I want to say early 1840s.
Yep.
40s, yeah, late 40s to 50s, yeah.
Yeah, give and take. So the Harrington, as far as we've been able to trace that back. Now, I did not get into all that, but I will show you some of it. So what I got to do here is on here, I need to go through Beatrice and see her. Just stick with me here. And then I've got to follow her sister, which is Helen. And now you're going to see the, doesn't go back far enough here. Thomas, oh, I'm still in Higgins. Sorry, Martin. Here. There we go. Okay, so we know in digging into the Harrington side of things, which is again where Tom and I first started back in the 90s before we knew any of this George Miller stuff. We were able to figure out all the way to where the Harringtons came over, where they came from, which is Cork County, Ireland.
Cork County?
Yeah.
County Cork.
County Cork, Ireland is where they came over. And ultimately when. So Patrick was the first one to hit the shores. And he is, I've got tons of stuff on him. In fact, the book that Sue sent to Mary was based off of our research on him, starting with him. So he should be the first entry in that book. And being good Catholics, they had a ton of kids. Look at the kids. Wowza. As far as that goes. So help me out here, Tom. Was it 1841 he came over or something like that?
It's in the 1840s, yes. And I want to say he came over with a son of his, or did he come by himself? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did not bring the whole family at once. They piecemealed it.
Right. And then just so happened that
and then he's actually
Andover and Wellsville.
Yeah. So if I go, let me go. Nope, I'm in the wrong place here. I want to go. Where's my? God dang it! Get out of the way. I'm trying to get at a certain. Nope. You're gonna let me have it. I want this. Okay. So if I do. And of course, you can imagine there's going to be 10,000 Harringtons in here, but specifically, I want Andover. What's that county over there, Tom?
The county that it's in, I don't know. I'd have to look.
Oh heck, let me just try New York.
Right.
Allegheny County. All right, let's see what we got. Nothing. Stand by a second. Let me try something different because I know I have it. So let me get this back up here. And it's too much stuff open again, folks. There we go. And then if I go Harrington, Patrick Sr. Okay, so here is a picture of him and his wife. This is the guy that came over on the boat. Whoa. Patrick and Catherine Ahern. Ahern.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Surely his boy got his ears.
Right. And then we were able to, through maps, and just stick with me here. Let me try this one first. So this is a 1869 map of Andover, New York. And you'll see down here it says P. Harrington. And what this is if you can see this, these little dotted lines right here, that's a horse trail. So now there's now a road there nowadays. And we actually drove past this or tried to drive through this to actually see what it was like. And we think we found the right area, but it's very, very much like it was back in the 1860s. Big trees and not a heck of a whole lot going on there. But we were able to find out where he settled, and he actually created a church in Andover. He was one of the founders of I believe it was a Catholic church at the time, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, in Andover. I don't.
Yeah, because they would meet in houses back then, I guess, and then collect up enough to
That's his deed.
physically build a church.
Yeah, we went to the. We got all this property records, all kinds of different stuff from him. I believe that's what this is, deed to his property. Oh yeah, I had to translate it because it was all handwritten and you couldn't really read it. But we were able to do, property and figure out where was the original homestead that they had set up and so on and so forth. But what I was looking for was his tombstone is kind of unique in that it's a obelisk and it's got like 3 or 4 different people on the different faces of the obelisk. If I remember right, help me out, Tom. It's been a while since I've seen that, but
right, yeah. Right, and it was very back then before we had access to the computer age. It was very eroded, and we actually read it and got the idea to take a piece of paper and a pencil and make a rubbing, and it popped out the name on it, so we could actually read it. It was kind of cool. But he has a son. It has him, his wife, and I think a son in there. Died of tuberculosis, maybe.
Right.
But in Wellsville, and this is in Wellsville, New York.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you one more interesting story, and then I think I'm about done with interesting stuff. So this is a very interesting story. So let me do it through the start closing some of this stuff so I can close that. Just back up here.
And again, how did you get started on this? I mean, what was the thing, the motivation?
My mother passing away. So my mother passed away in 1991. She was only 50. She died from breast cancer. And we knew next to nothing about the Harringtons. I mean, I knew who Richard was. I knew who Howdy was. I didn't know how many kids he had. We didn't know any of this. We had gone, I think, 1 or 2 times to visit Shirley's family, so we knew about those kids. But other than that, New
York, so it was easier.
And they were close in New York, so it was fairly easy. Now, when Grandma Harrington died, she was with you folks up in St. Paul or wherever you were, Minnesota there. And I believe my mother and maybe Stephen, our youngest brother, went. We did not go. We did not go to that funeral. So we were
complete. No, it was your mother and Helen.
Right. So, anyways, bottom line is we did, none of the kids went that were of I'll say of age. So we just didn't know. So John, it really scratched the itch of, trying to figure out, what all this was about as far as the family goes. It was a long, arduous thing. And most of it was done the old fashioned way, pounding the pavement with the shoes and going to, city libraries, the old fashioned way, looking stuff up, spending hours thumbing through hard copy newspapers and such. And then we just, I don't do this every 5 minutes, every waking moment, but I've on and off over the past, 40 years or 36 years, give or take. We've been working on it. So what I wanted
on behalf of the family, I would like to thank you sincerely for all of this work. It would have been completely impossible without all of your good work.
Right. I do want to share one more with you. It's a really good, and then I'll close with this. Okay.
Great.
All right. The last one I want to tell you about is there was a brother of Martin Harrington. So let me find him. Let me get to him first of all. Got to go through Beatrice. I want to see her family tree, and then I got to hit his wife, and then get to Martin. All right. So you should be able to see Martin on here. And then I'm going to close up this. So these are all of Martin's siblings. So remember, what's that?
That's
all right. So lots of brothers and sisters. And remember earlier, I was telling you about a lady that helped me with DNA down in Florida. She came from Joseph Harrington down here. Well, part of Joseph's leg here, he had a son, Neil Harrington. Neil Harrington died in the very tail end of World War II. Here's a nice picture of him. And it was always interesting to us, well, what happened? Was he killed in action? What actually happened was, well, he was actually killed in a training accident down here, not too far from me, near Biloxi, Mississippi. So again, back then I used to live up in New York when I was stationed up in New York, and just so happened I was down here and I'm like, hey, you know what? Biloxi's only an hour or two away from me. Let me go over there and see if I can find anything. I'll actually go to the supposed place. Maybe there's a historic marker, or something that says that this airplane crashed there. And sure enough, I found nothing. Went to the library there. I found a little bit of information, but not much. So took a drive up where I think the incident happened and what have it. Couldn't really find anything. And people were like, there's an airplane that crashed around here, really? So I was telling them stuff they didn't know. So really wasn't too successful with that. Anyway, I got home and I ended up going, wait a second. If this is a military aircraft, they've got to have an accident investigation and report. And I applied for it on, let's say, a Friday night. I had the whole report in my hand the next morning. That's how quickly your government was able to get me the report on this actual crash. So I have the full information for this. Well, his family and this lady that I was working on the DNA with, she didn't have that information. They always wondered themselves. So I was able to share that with them and explain to them exactly what happened to him. And the bottom line is, this is kind of strange, but they were practicing how to maneuver the aircraft if one of the engines failed. And they were doing this over in the Biloxi, Mississippi area. And what had happened was the instructor pilot, they figured out that he accidentally turned off the fuel to the working engine instead of the engine that was shut off. And they were playing around doing this stuff at way too low of an altitude. And by the time they figured out what was going on, they couldn't recover. So that's ultimately what happened to him. So I got that whole thing. If you're ever interested in reading something like that, that's a fascinating read. Okay. So again, let's see, what are we at here? 3:30-ish Central Time. So that's a little bit about it.
A lot of it.
I think there's probably American presidents that have not had this much research done on their families. So anyways, that's just absolutely amazing, Michael, and everybody involved. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, no worries. If you want to other questions come up, by all means, I'm happy to help out and say, hey, this is what I know, and take it from there.
Thank you, Michael.
At some point, we're looking to get some additional details on your side as well. So I didn't go too much on your families, but that would also be very interesting for us as well. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I will send a copy of this recording to everybody, and that wouldn't have been possible without all of your good work.
All right.
Thank you, John, for saying that, because, well, we got quite a lot more to explore. And once you get this information, you can fill in the gaps. Thank you, John. And Kath, where'd you go, Kath?
Oh, sorry, I had to get my chickens some dinner.
There you go. What time?
I love it, Kathy. I love it.
What time should we be there?
Oh man.
All right. Listen, everyone have a good evening, and thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you for all the work that everybody has done in putting the meeting together. So it's not one of the easy things to do. So
right.
Aunt Mary,
Yeah.
you've been a blessing to put your input in, and
Oh yeah.
and Mike and his wife Barb enjoyed the phone conversation as well as I have over the years. And God bless you. You're
Well, and God bless you, and I hope you feel better soon.
well. I on not this week, but next week, Monday, I'm gonna have the ultrasound guiding injections done, so I don't have so much pain. But thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks,
you
everybody.
had a
All right.
Yep.
yes. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet our first
Goodbye.
cousins.
Bye bye.
All right. See ya.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.